Hey lovely, welcome back. Today we are talking about stepping into our grown woman era, stepping into that stage of life where we are really maturing, growing, and this season is so fun. This season is very intentional. That's really the biggest word for being a grown woman, is really being intentional and taking the steps that you need to take so that you can create the life that you want. And I have 8 things for you that are going to help you grow. These are things that I have been doing, trying, learning. Stepping into your grown woman era looks different for everyone. This is not about age. It's about mindset. It's about intentionality. It's about really wanting this and becoming that woman. So if you want to hear more about that, make sure you like this video, subscribe so we can grow our beautiful, lovely community. Number 1, and probably the most important because this is foundational, is having massive self-awareness. Massive. And when I say massive, I mean a lot of self-awareness. And when you're stepping into a mature stage, becoming a grown woman, you have to be able to look at yourself from all angles. You cannot have a one-sided perspective of yourself because it's not going to help you at all. You need to be able to be mature enough to say that I am multidimensional and there's so many different facets of me and I need to know those, the good, the bad, the ugly. And you have to be able to know those things. This means asking the hard questions. This means taking time to journal. This means getting to know yourself. This means doing the things you've never done before. And self-awareness is all about being a fly on the wall on your own life, on your own self. This is a personal thing. Being aware of who you are, being aware of the things you need improvement on, being aware of the things that you love about yourself, being aware of the things that you may not like so much about yourself, being aware of your emotional states, of your triggers, of the things that make you happy, the things that make you mad, all of those things, taking a really deep dive on who you are as a whole. You want to grow your perspective of yourself. That's what self-awareness is. This kind of self-awareness is compassionate. It's not self-loathing. It's not saying, I wish I was that, or it's not saying, oh, I'm not as good as I am, or it's not puffing yourself up and saying, I am so great. It's really taking a humble step and compassionate step and saying, oh, wow, I've grown. Oh, I could really grow in that area and that would be really lovely. And saying, I am really good at that. And saying, God has gifted me with these talents. That's what really healthy self-awareness is. We can be so negative when we're being self-aware, or we can puff ourselves up and become so prideful. Go in the middle. For me, a really great self-awareness practice is journaling. And I have a whole entire video dedicated to journaling. Journaling is a great way because I can go back to my old journals and that can help me become self-aware, seeing all the things that were happening in the past, what things triggered me, what things I liked, what kind of people I was around, what was going on, my mental state. That's a form of self-awareness, is really looking back in the past and really seeing myself as a whole. So if you want to check that out, I'll link that video down below. Number 2 is you have to affirm and recognize yourself as a grown woman. And this really plays into self-awareness. Once you're aware of all the things you've done, your accomplishments, where you've been, what you've done, you can see, oh, heck yes, I am a grown woman because I've done it. I've been there. I've done that. I've done this. I've accomplished that. I've stepped into the stage. One of the biggest things that I see in myself is that I wake up some days and I'm like, what am I doing here? What is this life? Who is this man? Am I allowed to be here? This is imposter syndrome that I have of thinking I'm still 17, that this life is too hard for me, that I can't make these decisions. Should I be making that appointment? What insurance do I get? Dental, whatever, like so many different things that I have to make a decision. And I feel that I'm not mature enough. I have to affirm every single day and say, I am becoming that woman. I am that grown woman. Look at what I've done. I show myself the evidence. I talk to myself and really have grace and compassion and say, we have done this. We can do this. Recognizing that you are grown, recognizing that you are there, recognizing that you are becoming that woman is so key, because you're going to start practicing it. You're going to start walking it. You're going to start believing in it. So if you're having a hard time really recognizing yourself as a grown woman, instead of just saying, I am a grown woman, because you don't believe that yet, your brain doesn't believe that yet, you can ease into that affirmation and say, I'm becoming the grown woman. I'm becoming that woman that I want to be. I'm growing into her. I'm stepping into her. These are more progress-based affirmations to really help your brain see that we are doing that. And then you start taking those steps. You start taking the actions. You start being intentional. You start journaling. You start practicing your self-care rituals. Whatever those things are that you're going to put on your grown woman plan, go ahead and put those on there, because it's going to help you see yourself in that. Because when you affirm saying, I'm doing it, I'm stepping into it, and actually taking the action, you're combining that cognitive recognition and also taking the action. It's going to literally help you grow so much. So recognize that you are that woman, because you are, you just need to recognize it. Number 3 is walk and practice your grown woman independence. And this independence is not the same independence that you had when you started driving at 16, or you could go out with your friends. This is a literally like next level independence. And you have to, again, recognize that you have this independence. You can do whatever you want, how you want it, when you want it, whatsoever. You can do that. You are making the decisions. You are the CEO of your life. You're directing this thing. So you have to recognize that, have this independence. I have all these freedoms. What am I going to do with it? How am I going to lead my life? Am I going to lead my life where I just go party, I go hang out, I drink, I do this, I come back and just sleep and wake up and just kind of go through the matrix? Is that how you're going to use your independence as a grown woman? Or are you going to use independence more intentional, more loving towards yourself, creating a life that you want, yet enjoying the good things of life, whether it's friends and an outing, indulging and getting drinks and having fun and having a balanced life? How are you going to use your grown woman independence? And when it comes to practicing your independence, it also means doing the things you need to get done, taking care of business. Business means your house, your body, your car, all the responsibilities that life has given you now that you pay bills, now that you are in your own space, if you are, or maybe you rent a room, or maybe you have a roommate. All of those things come with the responsibility, and as a grown woman, you need to recognize those things and start taking care of them. Is it taking care of your car, getting the oil change, getting maintenance? Is it your lawn? Is it your backyard? Whatever that thing is. For me right now, it's my backyard and my front yard. And I realized that I have this beautiful space and I haven't done a whole lot with it, and I want to. Again, this is all the things that I want. You don't have to take care of your yard if you don't want to. You can pay someone else to do it. That's part of being grown, is knowing what can I delegate and what can I do. That's part of the independence. And for me right now, I want to plant things. I want to get in there. It's part of my self-care ritual, part of my rest, which we'll talk about later, but I want to take care of those things. A lot of us are blessed with having brothers, dads, sisters, whoever's to help us maybe do the maintenance of the car or take care of these things. And that's so amazing to have that. But also, do you know how to do those things for yourself? Can you do that? Can you schedule an oil change appointment without being so nervous? Or can you actually change your own oil? I can't, but I know who I'm gonna call. I know where to go. Take 5 oil change. I'm coming for you if I need it. Are you taking responsibility, or are you just kind of letting things fall and you're stressing, you're overwhelmed? Part of being independent, part of being grown is knowing how to use that independence, knowing how to use that time so that you are taking care of business, you are taking care of your own. But use your independence wisely, because as a grown woman, you need to be able to create balance in your life. Find a balance for yourself. That's going back to the self-awareness. What does that balance look like for me? How can I take care of my business and also hang out with my friends? How can I not feel that this life is a chore? How can I use my independence to really help me and really grow and really create the life that I want? Number 4 is such a big one, and that is setting boundaries. We are setting boundaries as grown women. As a grown woman, this just is a non-negotiable. You have to set boundaries. And boundaries, and we know boundaries. We've heard boundaries. We talk about boundaries. You know what boundaries are. But I'm going to tell you a few things that a lot of us miss when it comes to setting boundaries. So a boundary is really drawing a line and saying, this is where you end and this is where I begin. And you cannot cross this line without my permission. That's what a boundary is saying. And boundaries look all kinds of different. I'm gonna post a resource in the description to help you understand boundaries more. So go ahead and check that out, journal about it. It will help you. I found it really, really helpful for me. There's all kinds of different boundaries: financial, emotional, physical, mental, like all kinds of boundaries. As a grown woman, you need to assess, again, having self-awareness, taking inventory, having an audit and seeing, where in my life am I not setting boundaries? A lot of us, it's usually relationship, it's usually work, it's time, it's screen, all kinds of things that we're not setting boundaries in. And it's not saying you're gonna build walls and walls and walls to cave yourself in. You're building gates. Who can come in, when they can have access, how long they can have access, and then what happens if they overstep. And that's the second thing that a lot of us do not talk about enough when it comes to boundary is, okay, I've set the boundaries, but what happens when someone crosses a boundary? This is the hard part about boundaries, because you can say, don't talk to me. You can say, don't touch me. You can say, don't kiss me. You can say all that. You can say, don't. But are you enforcing the boundaries? And enforcing the boundaries means you have to say, what will happen if you cross my boundary? What will happen if you cross this line that I've set? And that is the biggest thing about boundaries. And being a grown woman is knowing, okay, I'm going to set this boundary, but I'm also going to set a consequence. What will happen if you do this? What will happen if you don't do that? So setting boundaries is 3 parts. Communicating the boundary clearly and firmly, communicating what the consequence will be if that boundary is crossed, and then actually implementing the boundary when that line is crossed, when people cross into your area, whatever that area is. A lot of us women are always giving. It's part of our nature to give of ourselves, to really just hand it out. Our time, our emotions, our thoughts, our money, our resources, whatever it is, we just are built to give. We're built to nurture. That's what we're built to do. But we end up neglecting ourselves. And honestly, if you are pouring and pouring and pouring, no one is pouring back into you. Eventually, you're gonna have nothing to pour. One of my teachers and mentors in high school told me this. She said that you are the common denominator in everything that you do. And if you're not 100%, you can give 100%. You're not fed, you don't set boundaries, how would you expect to give it out? How do you expect to give all that? And we wanna be generous women. We wanna give to our community, our people, our families. We wanna give back. But if we don't protect ourselves and get fed, and we don't create those boundaries that are going to help us do that, we cannot give. Boundaries are meant to protect you and also other people and your relationships. Number 5 is take your money seriously, baby. Take your money seriously. And this is one of those things that I'm practicing. I'm fully practicing, because in this economy, if we're not taking our money seriously, where are we gonna be? And do not let anyone tell you otherwise. Money is important. Money is not the priority of life. Money is not life. Money is not happiness, but money is access. It gives you opportunity. It puts you into doors. You get to step into certain doors if you have certain monies. We know this. There's places, things that I probably will never see if I'm not the 1%. Money is access. Money is a tool. One of the most important tools that you have in your life is money. Money's funny, baby. And when we don't talk about money, we're not honest about money, we're not taking our money seriously, it creates drama, it creates confusion, it creates bitterness. Taking your money seriously means you have to talk about money to yourself. What kind of person are you with money? Are you afraid of money? Are you someone who just spends money because you know what, you don't care? Or do you really care? You're just afraid that you're gonna lose it, so might as well spend it now. Where are you at with your money mindset? Where's your heart at with money? Do you hoard money? How was I raised? Was I raised poor? Was I raised rich? Was I raised, okay? Was I raised paycheck to paycheck? We did okay, but we barely made it. And I've journaled so much about this. I've prayed to God. I've cried about it. I've just poured it out. I've talked in therapy about it. Like, just money, money, money. You have to really talk about it. This is the self-awareness. Am I overspending where I shouldn't be? Am I eating out when I can cook in? Do I have too many subscriptions? What is going on with my money? Do you look at your bank account enough? Or do you only look at it on payday? Or do you only look at it when you have to withdraw money? Do you have a rhythm for your money? Do you know what your money is doing? Or you just wake up and your money's gone? As a grown woman, you have to create a system to make sure that your money is working for you. Again, it's a tool for you, and you're the one that is using that tool. Having a budget is so key when it comes to taking your money seriously. You gotta have a budget. You gotta know your limit. This is setting boundaries with yourself. And a budget is freedom. A budget's supposed to help you really spend money how you want it. I use Notion to budget, and I'm gonna try to remember to put a screenshot of what it is. I put all the bills that we have, and then I make sure if we have any extra things that are coming, if it's an appointment, big spending, if we're taking a trip, I gotta make sure I put it in. And I've started to do this recently, and it has taken all the pressure off, because there's so many budgeting tools out there. So many, and half of them I don't understand. It doesn't work for me. I tried every dollar because we went through financial peace, and that worked for a little bit. Having something that's simple that I created, a way for me to track. I also use a calendar view in Notion to look at my bills. Like, I know that the rent is due here. I know that all these bills are due after that. Other thing, and this is my favorite thing, and this is something that I'm practicing, I'm going to practice, is standing up for your money. If you're a 9-to-5 girly, if you work a job, or you're a freelancer, you work for somebody, if somebody else is writing your check, you have to make sure that you're standing up for your money. You have to make sure that the work you're putting in and the number that's coming out is worth your value. I'm learning to stand up for myself, because in the past I've had jobs where I know I should have been paid more. I know I should have spoken up, but I didn't. I was too afraid to rock the boat. And what if they fire me? What if they say no? I wasn't confident. I didn't have the confidence of a grown woman to do that. The sign of being grown is standing up for your money, because again, money is important, and this takes time. And this is something that I have to practice in private. I have to journal about, I have to cry about, I have to talk to my husband about, I have to go to therapy about, so that I can have the confidence. When the time comes, I have the confidence to say, I deserve this. This is what I've done. If right now you're watching this and you know you need a raise, you know you deserve a raise, write all the stuff down that you need to show them that you've done. Document everything. Write everything down, everything that you do, every little thing, document it. So when it comes time for a promotion, a raise, you have proof. and you can show it to them. See your value. Be aware of your value at work, what you do a lot. Don't lowball yourself. And if you don't do a lot, if you are lazy, if you are not putting the work in and you are not getting the raise, then you got to step it up. Be honest with yourself. Or if you hate your job, and maybe start looking for different ways to love it, or finding other jobs that you will be more passionate about so you can get there. The worst thing they can say is no. As grown women, we have to take no and be okay with no. We have to say no, and we have to be able to take no and not put it on us. They're not saying no to who I am. They're not saying no to my character. They're just saying no to a number. The sixth way for you to step into your grown woman era is presentation, presentation, presentation. How you show up is so key. How you speak, how you look, how you dress, just how you carry yourself. This is less about material or the things you put on your body. It's more about your mindset, how you present yourself to yourself. And in order for you to present yourself to other people out there, the way you dress and how you carry yourself out, you have to be able to present yourself to yourself in the best light. This means, how do you speak to yourself when you're alone? How do you speak to yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror? What do you say to yourself? What are the things that you're proclaiming over your life? Is it negativity? Is it I'm ugly, I'm not worth it, I'm not good enough, oh my gosh, look at my body, I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm not enough? Are those the things that you're saying to yourself? Because those things you internalize, and you go out there and you fake it out there, and you're so exhausted, you beat yourself up, you're not confident, because in private, you are not presenting yourself in the best light to yourself. You're not being authentic with yourself. So when you go out there in public and fake it, you feel so exhausted, you feel drained, you just don't feel good, or you avoid public, or you avoid being around people altogether. Presentation is about starting internally, starting with yourself. What are the things that you need to do? What are the things that you need to start saying to yourself so that you can get the confidence, you can grow, and you can start seeing yourself in the best light? For me, it has been losing weight. I've been overweight for a very long time, ever since I can remember. Always been bigger for my age, for my height, and this has always just brought me down. And I am the type to fake confidence, because I can fake it till I make it. And I've done pageants, I've done keynote speaking, I've been in front of people. Lately, I can't fake that anymore. I just can't fake it, because when I do something like that, I do, whether it's a show, get in front of people, talk, whatever, just present myself to people. And then I get home and I look in the mirror and I don't like who I see. I don't feel validated. I just feel like that was so draining. I'm ugly, I'm gross. Like all of those things, I was saying that to myself over and over and over again. For me, this season has been all about taking inventory of the things I'm saying. What am I doing to make sure that I'm not talking to myself negatively? When I look in the mirror, what am I doing to make sure that I love that woman, that I see her, I validate her, I give her grace? And for me, that has been losing weight, stopping and checking myself when I'm about to start talking ugliness to me, saying, no, I don't believe that anymore. And also it's saying, if I am the daughter of the Most High, and I'm talking to myself like this, what does that mean? Do I really see God? Do I really love God? And do I really see him as a creator of all beautiful things? Because if he created all of the stuff around me, all of the lovely flowers that I love that are in my backyard and front yard, if he created all the birds, if he created this beautiful earth, how much more does he take his time with me to make sure that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, with just like delicacy, with love, with just awe? Like he took his time to create me. As a grown woman, you gotta show up for yourself. You have to show up in the mirror. You gotta show up, whether it's in the kitchen, what you eat, what you put in your body. Show up for yourself, presenting yourself. Because once you start doing those things in private, when you go out there, the confidence is going to show. I don't do this to get compliments. I don't do this so that people can recognize. I do this so that I can recognize. It's nice when people see us improving. It's encouraging, it's motivating. What are those things that you need to do to make sure that you're presenting yourself in the best light? Is it working out? Is it a new diet? Is it drinking more water? Is it less time on social media? Is it praying? Is it journaling? What are those things that you need to do so that you can start seeing yourself in the best light, so that when you step out of the door, you go out there, you are shining? Number 7 is having grown relationships and friendships. I cannot tell you how important this is. Like everything else in this video, it is so important that you have grown relationships. You cannot live a grown life where you have childish friends, childish relationships in your life, whether that's platonic or romantic. You can't be dating someone or be in a relationship with somebody when they're childish. They're not on the same mindset and the level that you are. You want to be grown, you have to surround yourself with people who are pursuing life, pursuing positivity, they're pursuing maturity, they're pursuing the next level. And you don't want a one-sided relationship where you're either giving yourself too much or you're not giving enough to the other person. You want to have a nice relationship where you're both pouring into each other. You don't want codependent relationships where you are codependent to that person. If they hurt, you hurt, or if they're mad, you have to be mad, and you don't feel like you can have yourself. That is not a grown relationship. Take inventory of your relationships. Grown relationships are ones that challenge you. They push you to be better, and they will give you tough love when you need it. They're not just gonna follow you. They're not just gonna say yes and support you blindly. They will support you, yes, because they're your friends, but they're not gonna do it blindly. They're gonna disagree with you. They're gonna tell you how they feel. They're gonna push you. They're gonna call you out on your BS. They're gonna check you because that's what you're supposed to do. And you're supposed to be doing the same thing for them. You can't just suck the life out of your friends. I'm just saying, let's just be real. You want a real friend, you gotta be a real friend. Do you ask for advice? Having a grown relationship is being able to ask for advice, not feeling embarrassed, not feel like, oh, they can't help me, not seeing your friends as wise enough. And if you don't see your friends as wise enough, maybe you gotta get some wiser friends. As a grown woman, you're gonna have a lot more responsibilities, a lot more things, drama with this, people that, family that, and you need those people who are gonna stand by you, who are gonna love you, and yet they're gonna challenge you. Last but not least is number 8, and that is getting some rest. Creating a rest ritual. And this is the hardest, yet it's also my favorite right now because I'm actually stepping into this. And as a grown woman, you have to rest. We talked a lot about creating a balanced life, and rest really helps you put all those things together because you have all these responsibilities. You have all these things that you're doing, people you're taking care of. You're trying to take care of yourself. And part of that is resting and taking a moment. The world was created with rest in mind. God created everything with rest. God rested. I was listening to the Huberman podcast, which is one of my favorite podcasts. If you do not listen to it, try it. It's a lot. It's heavy, but I love it so, so much. I was listening to the sleep podcast. The guest person said something along the lines of sleep has survived evolution. That sleep is always there. And that blew my mind. We've always needed sleep. We always needed rest. And that just speaks volumes to how much you need rest. And sleep is a form of rest. It is the most important form of rest because it completely refreshes you in every way possible, emotionally, physically, spiritually, every way possible. You need your sleep. Creating a rest ritual. Some of my favorite rest rituals right now are going to the beach. I love going to the beach. I'm beyond blessed and privileged to live so close to the beach and to be there pretty much every weekend or every other weekend. Now that it's warmer, I love it. I love being in the water. There's something about being in the water for me that quite literally refreshing. Like I feel me refreshed when I get in the water, not just the physical of it, but spiritually. Like when I just get in the water and just swim, it's refreshing. I love it. I usually edit my videos at the beach. It's restful. I also been loving coloring, listen to podcasts. That has been something that I'm running to. Like every time I feel overwhelmed, I have my coloring book. I just grab it. I start coloring. Always on overdrive. I'm always thinking, planning, moving on to the next thing. I live in the future so much. That's just who I am. And that's why I said this is the hardest thing for me and also my favorite because I'm seeing the value of me resting. I'm just way more calmer. I'm taking my time, I'm resting more, I'm implementing rest. So what is rest for you right now? Being a grown woman is finding rest. You will give so much of yourself. That is just a natural part. So if you can be intentional about your rest, where are you gonna rest? How are you going to rest? Whether it's your reset Sunday, your everything bath, your everything shower, whether it's just a wine night, watching Bridgerton, rewatching your favorite show like the 100th time, whether it's just playing New Girl in the background and cooking and playing some jazz music, getting some candles out. What is that for you, lovely? And start doing it. Do one thing at a time. If it's going to bed 10 minutes earlier, maybe it's reading a couple Bible verses before bed. Maybe it's waking up a little bit early so you can sit outside and just sip tea or just sit out there, get some sun rays. What is it that you need to put in your life so you can create rest? I hope you love this video. If you have any tips, anything that you want to share with the community, leave them down in the comments below so that we can learn and grow with each other. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I will see you in the next one, my friend. Bye.